My countrymen, for decades we looked to others to come and build our nation. That time is now over. Today we take the errands of our country into our own hands and with our own sweat and our own hard work by building 1 kilometer of road at a time we will rebuild our glorious nation in the heart of West Africa. There is a country called Burkina Faso for many, many years. This nation has faced very big problems. One of the biggest problems has been something called infrastructure. This word infrastructure sound complicated, but it means all basic things a country needs to work well. It means good roads so people can travel easily. It means having electricity in homes and businesses so people can have light and use machines. It means having clean water to drink and use. It means having good ways to transport things from one place to another. For a very long time, Burkina Faso did not have enough of these important things. Imagine you are living in a small village. The roads are not paved with strong material like asphalt. They are just dirt tracks. When the sun is shining, these roads are dusty and bumpy, making travel slow and uncomfortable. But when the rainy season comes, these dirt roads turn into giant drivers of thick, sticky mud. Cars, trucks, and buses get stuck sometimes for weeks or even months. It becomes almost impossible to leave the village or for onion to come in. This is the reality that people in Burkina Faso have lived with for decades. This lack of good infrastructure has been like a heavy hand holding the country and its people back, keeping them in a cycle of poverty and making daily life a constant struggle. But now something is changing in Burkina Faso. There is a new feeling of hope spreading across the land. The change is being led by the country's new leader, President Ibrahim Traoré. He has a bold vision for his country. He doesn't want to just make small changes. He wants to completely transform Burkina Faso from the ground up. At the center of his plan is a huge and exciting project called the Faso Meboa Initiative. This project is all about building the things country has needed for so long. It is about turning those muddy dirt tracks into strong modern highways. It's about giving people the tools they need to build better lives for themselves. This is not just a story about building roads. It is a story about building a future. It is a story of strong leadership, of a people's determination to succeed, and of a powerful idea that could lift millions of people out of hardship and create a new dawn for the entire nation. The heavy price of broken roads and neglect. To truly understand why the Faso Meboa Initiative is so important, we must first understand how deeply the lack of infrastructure has hurt Burkina Faso for generations. The country's development was held back political problems, a lack of money, and the difficult landscape of the country all meant that building and maintaining things like roads and power lines was never a top priority. The result was a nation where simple, everyday tasks become incredibly difficult challenges. Think about a farmer living in a remote village. This farmer works hard all year to grow crops like maize, cotton, or vegetables. When it is time to harvest, the farmer hopes to sell these crops in a market in a nearby city to earn money for his family. But to get to the market must travel on a poorly maintained road. If his truck gets stuck in the mud, he could be stranded for hours or even days. While he waits, the food he has grown can start to spoil. By the time he reaches the market, his crops may be ruined, or he may have to sell them for a much lower price. This is not just a small problem. It means his family has less money for food, for school fees, and for healthcare. This story has been repeated thousands of times all over the country, trapping farming families in a cycle of poverty they cannot escape. That problem goes far beyond farming. Think about a sick child in that same village. The child might have a fever or an injury that needs urgent medical care. The nearest clinic might be many kilometers away because the roads are so bad an ambulance cannot get to the village quickly. The family might try to take the child to the clinic themselves, but the journey is long and difficult. Precious time is lost. A sickness that could have been easily treated becomes a life-threatening emergency. This is the human cost of poor infrastructure. Entire communities have been left vulnerable with limited access to the doctors, nurses, and medicines that could save their lives. This has led to preventable deaths and immense suffering that could have been avoided with something as simple as a reliable road. The lack of good infrastructure also chokes the country's economy. Businesses need to be able to move goods and materials easily. If it costs too much money and takes too much time to transport products, business cannot grow. A company that wants to build a factory will look at Burkina Faso and C major challenge, will they get there raw material show? Will they ship their finished products to customers faced with this logistical nightmares? Many investors decide to take their money to other countries, where it is easier to do business. This means fewer factories get built and fewer jobs created. Young people who finish school have trouble finding work. This leads to frustration, a sense of hopelessness, which can create social unrest and make young unemployed people vulnerable to being recruited by extremist groups who promise them money or a purpose. In this way, broken roads contribute not only to poverty, but also to instability and insecurity. A new vision. The launch of Faso Meboa Initiative. Faced with these enormous challenges, the leaders of Burkina Faso knew that they could not continue on the same path. They understood that waiting for outside help was not enough. They needed to take control of their own destiny. In 2024, President Ibrahim Traoré announced a plan that would change everything. He launched the Faso Meboa Initiative, a powerful and ambitious national program designed to rebuild the country's infrastructure from its very foundation. Its name itself carries a message of pride and self-reliance. This was not just another government program with empty promises. It was a call to action, a movement to physically rebuild the nation. President Traoré often said that people of Burkina Faso must rely on themselves, on their own hard work, and on their own cleverness to solve their problems. The Faso Meboa Initiative the ultimate expression of this belief. Message was clear: every single citizen, every Burkinabe has a part to play in this transformation. It is about everyone contributing, everyone working together to change their neighborhoods, cities, and their country as quickly as possible. This created a sense of shared purpose and national pride. The leaders of Burkina Faso looked around world for inspiration. They saw how China, in just a few decades, had transformed itself from a developing nation into a global powerhouse. Largely building incredible infrastructure. Its Belt and Road Initiative reside in Traoré and his government studied this model. They saw how building roads, railways, and ports could connect a country and fuel its economy. However, they knew they could not simply copy what China did. They needed to adapt the idea to fit the specific needs and context of Burkina Faso. The goal was simple but revolutionary: to build thousands of kilometers of high-quality roads that would connect every corner of the country. But it didn't stop there. The vision was to also build affordable and safe houses for people to live in and to modernize essential services like electricity, water, and healthcare. The ultimate aim was to create a nation that was strong, connected, and prosperous for all its citizens. One of the first and most visible signs of this new commitment was a massive investment in equipment. In nearly 2024, the government of Burkina Faso acquired a huge fleet of over 900 brand new heavy-duty construction machines. This was a stunning development that caught the attention of many. The fleet included everything needed to build modern roads: powerful bulldozers to clear the land, excavators to dig trenches, graders to level the ground, massive dump trucks to carry away dirt and bring in materials, and heavy road rollers to press the asphalt into a smooth, durable surface. This was one of single largest investments in infrastructure machinery in the country's entire history. This was not just about buying equipment, it was a powerful statement of intent. The machines were immediately sent out to different parts of the country with every clear and urgent mission: replaceth old dirt paths with new paved roads, especially in the rural areas that had been neglected for so long. President Traoré gave a firm directive to the teams: in the ground there should be no delays, no excuses, and no failure. The target was incredibly ambitious. He wanted the country to pave between 3,000 and 5,000 kilometers of new roads every single year. This pace of construction is faster than what many much richer countries can achieve. It was a plan to literally change the map of Burkina Faso, connecting its people and its economy in a way that had never been done before. More than just roads, a plan for the whole nation. It might be easy to think that the Faso Meboa Initiative is only about building roads, while roads are the central part of the plan. The vision is much bigger and more complete. The leaders understand that true development means improving all aspects of people's lives. A new road is wonderful, but its benefits are even greater if the people living along that road also have good homes, reliable electricity, and access to schools and clinics. This is why Faso Meboa is a holistic or all-encompassing PRUC, a major part of the initiative is focused on building affordable housing in many cities. People live in crowded and unsafe conditions. The new plan includes constructing modern housing projects that provide families with safe, clean, and dignified homestays are not just empty buildings, they are designed to be communities with access to essential services like clean running water, proper sanitation systems, remove waste, and reliable electricity having. A decent home can transform a family's life, improving their health, safety, and overall well-being. The plan also includes improving public transportation and postal services. With new roads, it becomes possible to run reliable bus services that can connect even the most remote villages to larger towns and cities. This gives people the freedom to travel for work, for education, or to visit family. It breaks isolation that has held back so many communities. At the same time, improving postal services means that letters, packages, and information can move around the country more easily, which is vital for both personal communication and business. Agriculture, which is the backbone of Burkina Faso's economy, is another key focus. The initiative includes programs specifically designed to help farmers with better roads. It is already easier for them to get their crops to market, but Faso Meboa goes further. It aims to improve farmers' access to the things they need to be successful, such as high-quality seeds, fertilizers, and modern farming tools. It also works to provide them with access to credit or loans so they can invest in their farms and grow their businesses. By boosting agriculture, the initiative helps to increase rural incomes, ensures the country has enough food to feed its people, food security, and strengthens the national economy. Finally, the plan puts a strong emphasis on energy infrastructure. For too long, a huge portion of Burkina Faso's population has lived without electricity. This makes life very difficult. Children cannot study at night, businesses cannot use modern equipment, and hospitals cannot properly refrigerate medicines and vaccines. The Faso Meboa Initiative includes projects to expand the electrical grid, bringing renewable power to more towns and villages. This is a game-maker. It allows for better healthcare, better education, and creates new opportunities for small businesses to start and grow, powering nation's progress. This complete integrated approach shows a deep understanding of what it takes to build a truly prosperous society from promises to reality. Seeing the change happen, it is one thing to have a grand plan, but it is another thing to turn that plan into reality. The most exciting part of the Faso Meboa story is that the positive changes are already happening. The promises are turning into real concrete progress that people can see and feel in their daily lives. We can see this clearly in the story of a small village located near Koudougou, which is the third largest city in Burkina Faso. For years, this village was a productive farming community. The people there were hardworking and grew plenty of food. However, they were held back by a single major problem. They were connected to the outside world by a 30-kilometers dirt road in the dry season. The road was difficult, but in the rainy season, it became a disaster. The road would transform into a swamp of deep, thick mud, making it impossible for vehicles to pass 4 months at a time. The villagers were effectively cut off from the rest of the country. Their harvest would rot before they could sell it, their income would disappear, and their access to essential services was gone. Then the Faso Meboa Initiative arrived. The new construction machinery was brought in, and teams of workers began the task of transforming the road. They cleared the old dirt path, laid a strong foundation, and covered it with smooth, durable asphalt. A new modern paved road now connects the village directly to the bustling markets of Koudougou. The impact of this one road has been incredible. An immediate journey that used to take 3 long and difficult hours can now be completed in just 30 minutes. Farmers can now load up their trucks with fresh produce and get it to the market quickly and reliably. This means their food does not spoil, and they can earn much higher incomes for their hard work. They are no longer trapped by the seasons. The children in the village can now travel to school safely and consistently, improving their chances of getting a good education. If someone gets sick, a healthcare provider can now reach the village quickly, or the patient can be transported to a hospital in time to save their life. This single road has brought more than just asphalt. It has brought opportunity, security, and hope to an entire community. This small but powerful example is being repeated in different places across the country, showing how a strategic investment in infrastructure can directly lead to hug improvements in the quality of people's lives facing the hurdles challenges. On the road ahead, transforming an entire country is never an easy task, and the Faso Meboa Initiative faces its own set of significant challenges. The leadership is aware of these hurdles and is working hard to overcome them, but they are real and require careful management. The first major challenge is funding. Building thousands of kilometers of roads, new houses, and power plants is extremely expensive. It requires a huge amount of capital. The initial investment in machinery was a great start, but to keep momentum going year after year, the country needs a steady flow of resources. Government is actively looking for ways to finance this long-term vision. This includes working with international partners such as development banks and other countries to secure loans and grants. It also means managing the country's own budget very carefully to make sure that money is available for these critical projects. Sustaining the funding will be essential for the long-term success of the initiative. The major challenge is security. Burkina Faso has been battling terrorist and extremist groups for years, particularly in its northern and eastern regions. These groups pose a direct threat to the infrastructure projects. They could attack construction sites, harm workers, and destroy the new roads and buildings. To protect these vital national assets, the government has to make security a top priority. This involves deploying security forces to guard the project sites. It also means working very closely with local communities. When local people feel that projects belong to them and are for their benefit, they are more likely to help protect them and report any suspicious activity. Integrating security with community partnership is key to ensuring the work can continue safely. Third challenge is climate wrestles. Burkina Faso has a harsh climate. It experiences periods of intense drought as well as a very heavy rainy season that can cause severe flooding. Infrastructure built in this environment needs to be incredibly strong and durable. A road that is not built to withstand heavy rains will quickly wash away, wasting all the time and money spent on it. The Faso Meboa Initiative must therefore incorporate resilient design. This means using high-quality materials and smart construction techniques. For example, roads might be built on raised embankments to keep them above floodwaters, and complex drainage system might be needed to channel the heavy rain away from the road. Similarly, water systems need to be designed to function during times of drought. Building for the climate of tomorrow is crucial for ensuring that the new infrastructure lasts for generations. Building together the power of community ownership, perhaps the most important secret to the early success of the Faso Meboa Initiative, is its deep focus on involving local people. In the past, many development projects in Africa have failed because they were top-down. This means that decisions were made by officials in the capital city or by foreign experts without ever asking local communities what they actually needed or wanted. A road might be built where it wasn't a priority, or a school might be constructed without any local teachers. These projects often fell in total repair because the local people felt no connection to them. They did not feel a sense of ownership. The Faso Initiative is doing things differently. It is built on a bottom-up philosophy. From the very beginning, communities are involved in the planning and implementation of the projects. Before a new road is built, planners go to the villages and talk to the people. They hold meetings and listen to the opinions of village elders, farmers, mothers, and young people. They ask them, where is the best place to build the road? Where do you need a new school or a new health clinic? This simple act of listening and showing respect ensures that the projects meet the real needs of the people they are intended to serve. Furthermore, the initiative is built on a principle of building local capacity. This means it is not just about giving communities new things, it is about giving them the skills and opportunities to build and maintain these things themselves. Construction companies working on the projects are required to hire a certain number of workers from the local area. This provides much-needed jobs and injects money directly into the local economy, but it goes even further. Special training programs are being set up to teach young people valuable skills. They are learning how to operate the heavy construction machinery, how to perform maintenance and repairs, and even how to start their own small construction related businesses. This strategy has multiple benefits. It creates immediate employment and reduced poverty. It gives young people a positive alternative to unemployment or extremism. Most importantly, it fosters a powerful sense of ownership and pride when Yahweh helped to build the road that runs through your village. You see it as your road. You are more likely to take care of it and make sure it is not damaged. Communities become the guardians of their own infrastructure. This approach reduces the country's dependence on foreign companies and foreign workers, building a more self-reliant and resilient nation from the grassroots. A beacon of hope for a continent. The incredible transformation happening in Burkina Faso is not going unnoticed. The impact of the Faso Meboa Initiative has the potential to spread far beyond the country's own borders. As a landlocked nation, Burkina Faso's new road networks will not just connect its own villages, they will also create new and vital trade corridors to its coastal neighbors. This will make it easier and cheaper to transport goods to and from countries like Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Togo. Leaders in neighboring countries like Mali and Niger, which face similar challenges with infrastructure and security, are watching what is happening in Burkina Faso with great interest. They see a model of self-driven development that is delivering real results. This has started important conversations about regional cooperation. There is now talk of creating a West African Infrastructure Act, an agreement between several countries to coordinate their major construction projects. This pact could aim to build seamless road and rail networks that cross borders, creating a unified transportation system across the region. It could also involve joint projects for energy and communication. If a regional partnership becomes a reality inspired by Burkina Faso's success, it could completely change the economic landscape of West Africa. A region that is well connected would be able to trade with itself much more easily, boosting economic growth for very own. It would become a much more attractive place for international and leading to more industries and more jobs. A more prosperous and integrated West Africa would also be a more stable and secure West Africa. In this way, Burkina Faso's bold initiative could act as a catalyst, sparking a wave of development and cooperation that lifts millions of people across the entire region. The future for Burkina Faso looks brighter than it has in a very long time. The journey is still long and filled with challenges, but the path forward is now clear if the Faso Meboa Initiative can continue its impressive momentum. Experts believe the country will achieve incredible things by the year 2035. Burkina Faso could become one of the fastest growing economies in West Africa. The deep poverty that has plagued rural areas for so long could be significantly reduced. Millions of new jobs could be created not just in construction but also in agriculture, manufacturing, and services that will grow thanks to the new infrastructure. The nation could become a shining example for other African countries that are searching for their own paths to sustainable development. The story of Faso Meboa is a powerful reminder of what is possible when there is visionary leadership, smart investment, and the full participation of the people. It teaches us that infrastructure is not just about concrete and asphalt. It is the fundamental backbone of a society. It is what provides people with access to opportunity, what protects their health and safety, and what allows them to live with dignity and hope. As President Ibrahim Traoré's government continues to pave new roads, it is also paving the way to a new era for the nation. It is an era where despair is being replaced by hope, and where hardship is being replaced by opportunity. The journey is far from over, but for the first time, the destination is clearly in sight. A prosperous, strong, and resilient Burkina Faso, built 1 kilometer, 1 community, and 1 life at a